Today we're going to be talking about the fact that you do not want to know how you're going to play a scene. And I know that that's a very unpopular statement because usually actors will want to know exactly how the scene will go, right? In traditional approaches to acting, you are taught how to break down a script, how to understand the subtext, how to prepare for your emotions. In a way, you're really kind of strategizing before you do the scene to prepare and make sure that you've got every beat under your belt so that you can show up and really just do what you prepared, right? And it might seem like the most, it is the most popular way to do acting because there are some demands that are written, like some descriptions about the character and about the emotions. And you might read a certain character and know that they or think that they should have a certain type of behavior. So you want to make sure that you are preparing for that behavior so that you can show up that way, right? So in short, what it comes down to is like the way that we traditionally approach acting is that I am myself and here's a character and I need to prepare to be this character. I need to prepare my emotions. I need to prepare my behavior because there is a way that this character is, and there's a good way to do the scene. There's a right way to do the scene. And if I don't prepare, I'll make mistakes. And so the most conventional approach to acting is to make sure that you do know how to act and that you do know how to act this character in the scene in this particular moment. And the issue with that is that it takes the fun out of the equation because it becomes homework. So you prepare, you control, you strategize, and then you show up and you just regurgitate what you've prepared. And it takes the fun out, but it also takes the pressure on. It pumps up the pressure because suddenly you have a list of things that you need to hit. You need to, have the subtext in and your emotions and your substitutions and the way that you're going to say things. So suddenly it's like, it's homework. There's obligations that you need to show up for. And all the art part of it goes out the window. All the instinct, all the freedom, all the real moment, the juiciness of being alive goes out the window because you have prepared something just like you would for a test or, for some very structured type of discipline. And if we are considering that acting is an artistic discipline, well, the art of acting is not the art of faking, it's the art of being fully alive and fully present. And if you're trying to control how you're going to do a scene, well, the nicest way I can say it is that you're fucked because there's no way that you can control and prepare how everything's going to go and that you will at the same time show fully alive. There's no way those two things go together. You can't be in control and free at the same time, right? So, which is why, for example, Meryl Streep does not rehearse. She does not want to know how the scene will go because the second you know, well, you're not living it. You're just repeating what you know, but you're not being really there and being really present. So what the opportunity is here, the real possibility is when you're not knowing how you're going to do a scene, that is really a door that opens to you showing up like in a very magic, very type of genius, great actor way. When you do not know how things are going to go, guess what happens? You show up. You with your instinct, with your reactions in the moment, with you being really, really you and really, really present. And of course, you have read the script and you know what the scene is about because you've done your work. But when you show up, if you are just really cultivating your capacity to not want to know, if you're really honoring that, what life is really about, like we never know what's going to happen in any moment. That's how we live our life. We don't know what's going to happen. And because we don't know what's going to happen, therefore, we show up and we're fully present and alive and reactive to anything that could happen because we don't know. So we can't hang on to anything. And that's why our instrument is, open and that's why we live emotions, because we're not prepared, right? So that's what you want to take into acting. If acting is the art of being alive, what you want to do is make sure that you take what being alive is and bring it to your acting. If being fully alive is not knowing, really not knowing what's going to happen, and really making sure that you never know what's going to happen, then take that into your acting. Which doesn't mean that you don't do any work, which doesn't mean that you don't prepare your instrument. It doesn't mean that you're not working on your character. But when it comes to knowing how you're going to do the scene, no, you do not want to know how you're going to do the scene. So what happens when you do not know, you are present because you're not into the next moment knowing how things are going to go. So I said 3 important things. You are present. And let's kind of spend some time with each word. You means the full version of you. You being fully present, fully alive, fully free, fully wanting to be vulnerable enough so that no matter what happens, you will show up. Not what you've strategized about will show up, not what you think the character will do will show up, but you being the character in that moment is there. So the full version of you, which is so much more interesting than you having studied and thought about how you're gonna behave as another person. No, you, the full version of you, are present. So let's spend a little bit of time on are. So are, from the verb be, to be, is really, is what is being? Is being the next moment? Is being trying to figure out how things go and then, fit in there? Or is being really like a childlike quality that you have no idea what's going to happen? You're being present. You're being there. You're being open to everything that's going to happen, just like kids are. They're not trying to calculate and to defend themselves before they're attacked. They are vulnerable and powerful at the exact same moment. And that's what presence is. Presence is all of you is there within the circumstances, with no matter what happens. So when you are present, genius happens. Because everything is allowed to flow through you and you just go with it and react with it and behave with it. But it's nothing that you've calculated, that you've designed before, and that you show up and try to fit in. It's much, much bigger than that. And the only way for you to be much, much bigger than acting is for you to do the work on your freeing up your instrument and do the work on the piece that you're working with before, and then to just show up not knowing, not wanting to know how it's going to go, but being interested enough in the moment, in what you're living, in what you're there for, in what you're wanting as the character, right? So the recommendation would be, make sure that you spend some time really making sure that you're not just okay with not knowing, but that you're running towards not knowing, that you never want to know. The second you know, again, excuse my French, but you're fucked because you're not present anymore. You're manipulating what's actually happening in the moment. You want real presence and freedom and instinct, inappropriateness and surprising impulses. You can't know, right? So you really want to go towards that. And that is what makes the difference between a good actor and a great actor. And again, Meryl Streep always says, what is the difference between a good and a great one? Well, the great one is ready to go out on a limb. The great one doesn't know, is willing to be in that scary and yet most powerful place. It's on the edge. It's fully alive. That's greatness. Good is, I know how it's going to go. I'm going to show up and do it. I'm not taking any risks. I'm not making any mistakes. Great is much more ballsy, much, much braver. and much more delicious to watch, right? If you continue to cultivate your capacity to remain and to want to be in the unknown, and of course for that you have to have an open instrument. If your instrument is not completely liberated, you can want all you want to be in that moment not knowing. You won't be able to, because your wiring will want to attach to some kind of safety, and it won't allow you to just be there without any safety net. So if this makes any sense and you are feeling that this, this is appealing to you and you want to be in that place of unknown, well, then you need the work that you do need to do and that you are responsible for is to make sure that you liberate your instrument, that you work through your resistances so that you can show up fully open and fully alive, not knowing, because you know that you have your instrument to rely upon rather than your strategies. Yes, if this resonates and makes any sense, if you want to do this type of work, definitely get in touch with us. Type reset in the comments and we can send you some information about the reset journey so that you can make sure that your instrument is capable of being in the unknown. Because if not, of course, the blocks and the stickiness and the nerves and everything will make you go right back to trying to control because it's too scary. Have a wonderful week. Bye.